Michael Smith. I am a junior at UAA right now in the construction management program. And I've been working in construction in Alaska for about 20 years and just getting more into the civil side. I've been in residential construction most of the time and just wanted to expand either toward civil construction or commercial construction.
Okay, perfect. As far as, so your graduation date is going to be in May of 2022?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And it looks like that you had some experience last summer in doing an internship on the civil side of things. And so what are you looking to gain? Do you need more internship hours? Or are you looking for a permanent job to do with school at the same time? What are you looking for?
Well, what I'm looking for is kind of my best option once I graduate for
Okay.
a good career path that I'm going to move into. And with the new experience in civil construction, I'm really enjoying that. And I feel like that might be a good path for me.
Nice. As far as, what top 3 things you're looking for in a good job or in a good company, what would they be?
Let's see, the top 3 things is I like variety. I like to work on a lot of different projects. And I enjoy being able to schedule and work with a really good team. So I'd say probably the main one is a good team to work with. The second one would be variety in the workplace and the type of work. And third one is good benefits. I'm looking forward to retirement and a good retirement package and compensation package.
Okay. If you were offered 2 jobs, what would lead you to choose one over the other?
Let's see. Definitely pay would be a guiding force, and also would be probably the amount of work involved, as far as, is it a lot of work that's remote and away from more of a home base, or is it more of a variety?
Okay. As far as, once you start working for a company, once you start, that kind of path forward, what would success look like, or where do you want to be at professionally in 2 years?
In 2 years, I'd like to be working on a big project and working probably with it up in the project manager type range, or real close to the project manager on a large project.
Okay. As far as a supervisor goes, what qualities do you hope to see in a supervisor? What demotivates you? What are you looking for?
Yeah, in my own supervisors.
Yes.
So I like the supervisors who seem to be very knowledgeable about what we're working on, and that have good input, that listen to everyone that works with them, and is able to utilize information that people give them, but also knows how to give guidance back to everybody.
Okay. As far as working in a fast-paced environment and working under pressure, can you give me an example of what you've gone through?
Well, that's quite common, always trying to keep up with things on a construction project, getting one thing done so the next trade can come in. And like this summer in my internship, I was scheduling deliveries of panels for the crew to be able to install. So it's very important to make sure they had everything they needed on site when they needed it. And some days they would accomplish more than we had expected. So it was always keeping up and increasing deliveries if needed.
Okay. As far as adversity and facing adversity, have you ever, well, I'm sure you have. Can you give me an example of when you've faced adversity and how you overcame it?
Well, yeah, when I used to be assistant chief of the fire department, and one of our firefighters became kind of a little disgruntled with his position. And so it kind of flared up a bit, and had a meeting with him and was able to work through with him how to handle the situation, able to calm him down and work him into showing him the appreciation that he needed to keep him as a productive member of the fire department rather than leaving the department.
Nice. As far as your experience goes, and working it with teams, and that could be with the fire department or your work at the internship or working in your job, what traits do you look for, or what can somebody contribute to be a good team player?
Well, first off, when they work well with everyone around them and when they have some flexibility. So I have found with the construction crews, people always seem to fit more toward one task than another. And quite often when I can assign the task according to what fits well with them, they perform a lot better. And I very much appreciate it when the team members are very flexible. So they can move around a lot easier than some of them. And the ones that are a little bit less flexible, I just know to keep them in that narrower field of work that they're more comfortable with.
Yeah. As far as, and I know you touched on it briefly, but as far as working out of town or in remote areas, is that something that you would be able to do?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm flexible in a placement of where the job site is.
Okay. As far as your experience and attitude, as far as safety equipment and safety regulations and rules, what is your experience?
I've always kept my crews working safe. When I first started in construction, it wasn't quite taught to me, but once I worked up on the North Slope, a lot of safety training, and that's where I really embraced that culture of safety. And when I came back to where I was working in Cooper Landing, really brought a lot of that with me and have encouraged that ever since then. And very much the safety culture that's a strong point that I like to follow.
Nice. If you were ever asked to perform a task that you didn't feel comfortable doing, how would you handle that?
Well, I look at what was causing me to be uncomfortable with it, if I felt it was unsafe or it wasn't the proper thing to be doing. And then I would look toward who could help with the solutions to make it safer, or if I just felt it wasn't the right task, maybe talk to my superiors to see make sure that that's really what needs to be done, or maybe modify the task.
Okay. As far as other life commitments and work-life balance, what kind of other commitments would you be balancing with a job?
With a job, well, my partner, she lives with me, so I would always enjoy working places where she could travel with me. She works remotely, so she's quite flexible. But I know some of the remote jobs might be a camp job, so that wouldn't be the case. And other than that, my daughter's about to graduate high school, but she does not live with me, so I stay fairly flexible.
Okay. Um, your resume mentions estimating takeoffs for residential construction. Is that just hand takeoffs, or do you use some sort of software?
Well, so traditionally I've used Excel and Word programs, and I'm just now starting to get into some of the newer programs used on the commercial side and civil side, but just being introduced to them. So I would say
Okay.
by next summer, I will have a bit more experience.
Nice. So your internship last summer, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that I worked on the Glen Highway with Kiewit, and I was amazed at how much responsibility they gave me. So I'm new on the job. They had me ordering the wall panels for the stabilized earth wall, and also had me in charge of the hydro seeding as the subcontractor. And also at times I'd fill in for overseeing other contractors when people would have time off. So I was pretty happy to have a lot of responsibility. And in addition to that, there was a lot of training, a lot of online training to get familiar with the company, as well as learning different programs. Got to do quite a bit of office work and recording information and uploading things to the server that'll help them on job closeout.
So a variety of duties then.
Yes, I did a lot. I was very happy with what I got to learn this summer.
Which was your favorite part of that?
My favorite part, I would say, was the quantity tracking and tracking the progress of the wall and making sure every piece was put in the right place. There's hundreds of different pieces that look the same, but they're slightly different. So I really enjoyed keeping track of all that and organizing it for the crews so they made sure they had the right piece.
Yeah, sequentially. As far as, and I know we've touched on it a little bit, that you've dabbled in civil, that you for sure have that residential scope. What do you, as far as like your dream career track, what do you think that looks like? Is it with a commercial construction company, vertical? What do you think?
I'm really looking at being a project manager on civil projects. I would say that's really the direction that I'm headed toward right now.
Okay. Anything else that somebody watching this should know about you?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy working construction. I've done it for many years, and I also enjoy learning new things. Right now with going to UAA, expanding what I know, it makes me wish I had done it 20 years sooner. And I look forward to whomever I work for long term, learning their ways and working well with a new team of people.
Yeah. So what got you interested in construction before you started off?
Oh, when I very initially began work in construction,
Yeah.
that was, I grew up kind of around construction, and when I moved to Alaska, there was construction work available down in Cooper Landing. And so I started working it because it was a way to be able to live out away from the bigger cities and be able to make a living. And that's where I got started and just continued learning and growing and working my way up.